rather than spending 80 grand, 100 grand on a new car, you would just say, okay, body upgrade's going to be 10K, interior upgrade's going to be, 5K. What do you want to do? And you just keep the same. You keep the same frame, chassis, and engine, and maybe they might spruce something up with the engine to tune it up. But rather than just completely dismissing the whole vehicle, like if you want to update the body or the styling, you could easily do that with add-ons. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce the non-sponsor of the show, Miss Janet Tizu. Ladies and gentlemen, Janet Tizu. Wave to the audience. Janet Tizu donated the Powdered Toast Man. And today is a Just Chatting episode.
Yes.
So there are some Chinese organizations that are actually creating, and this has been a thing with me for years, is I don't have the connections into the industry to, like, let's say I wanted to, I don't know, I had this crazy idea once. I was like, hey, what if you could convert, and this is before people started doing it, and I'm not going to take any credit. Horacio Pagani actually did it, but it inspired me, and I said, okay, Horacio is building the chassis and the body of a Pagani Huayra, which is a beautiful car, out of carbon fiber. If you have a whatever car that you have, could you, now you see out there, people will like swap their hood out or their fucking trunk. I have a little bit of OCD, and that drives me crazy when you just have the hood in carbon and the rest is just aluminum or whatever. I don't like that. I want the full body to be converted to carbon.
It'd be wild.
Right?
It'd be wild.
So I knew this guy that was an automotive actual engineer. He used to go to one of the car meets, really smart guy. And he specialized in, the chemistry of tires. And he was an engineer that would engineer the rubber combinations to make that tire last longer. So he had connections to the automotive world. And I was like, listen, dude, what would it take? So let's say I have, I don't know, a Dodge Viper, just hypothetically, and I want to convert the entire body to carbon fiber. What would that take? And he's like, oh, you could do this, you could do that. He's like, I got some contacts and blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, nothing ever came to fruition. I was just kind of curious about it because I was like, that would be such a badass mod to do to a car. You would take weight off, okay? So say the body of your car, weighed whatever, carbon fiber is known to be durable and lightweight, right? And it would just look killer.
Yeah.
And also, you can get carbon fiber in different colors. If you actually do your research, you can get that weave in white, sometimes I think red.
That would be nuts.
Dude. Yeah. But now there's a company in China, I don't know the name, but they keep targeting ads to me, and you can literally tell them your car and they'll make it.
Well, China is advancing when it comes to their cars, especially. I don't know the name of it. I forget what it is, but someone made a video on it where, Marquise Brownlee made a video on a Chinese car that's not available in the United States, obviously, but it's essentially very similar to a Tesla. Power, everything, whatever. What was cool about it? So at the end of the day, Tesla is a software company, right? They make cars, all this stuff, but it's the software that is important. Now, the Chinese phone company, which is a software company, created its own car, just like if Apple were to create a car. And the really cool thing about it is that this software is killer. It works really, really well with your phone, whatever brand this is. I don't remember exactly what brand it is. Look up Marquise Brownlee's video. He explains it all very well, as he always does. But the car is about $10,000 to $15,000 cheaper than a Tesla, while it does all the same things. But the thing that was really cool about it was that it had like a modular system where, imagine a Tesla.
Yeah.
Now imagine on the back of the Tesla screen, there was adapters, and you could plug in different things into that adapter. So they had like these different accessories to the car.
Almost like I'm almost thinking like
a new speedometer or like
a home theater sound system. You have the receiver, and then you can add things to it like modules.
Similar to that.
Yeah.
So you can add like a new speedometer to the screen. There's a screen, you can add it to the back and it sticks up and you can see it in the front. And then it has like
add-ons.
These different accessories and add-ons that you can add to it. There's a legitimate plug on the back of the screen and in different areas within the car. And it makes it, I mean, that's really cool. That's something that no one has done yet. And so that, it to my understanding and opinion, that's a massive advancement in automotive, especially in major consumer cars like Teslas, like, you know, Toyotas, whatever, Nissan. If they were to add this, I can't think, if they were to add this ability, I mean, that's huge. That's really cool.
I think that's along the lines of what I thought of years ago was basically, and the car companies would probably never do this, but I think it would work, is you have the basic frame and chassis and engine, and the body, you literally like, you flick a few, like for example, and it would,
you make the look of it custom, essentially.
No, this would be an idea that I thought was very eco-friendly option for vehicles. So if like you have a really nice car, and I kind of like thought of like almost like the Pagani Huayra, where you have the frame and the chassis and all that stuff and the engine that stays the same, but to avoid like filling the landfills and shit like that. I don't want to come off too crunchy, but it was a concept where you, rather than getting rid of the car, and you would make the car very durable, low chances of shit breaking, just make it reliable. But you make your money on the body changes and the mods and add-ons. So you could get every 3 years, it comes out with a new body. You can literally go to the shop, pay $10,000 for the body, and they'll swap it all out for you.
That kind of reminds me. You remember the link of the video I sent you like a couple months ago where they were creating almost like custom cars? They looked like rally cars.
Oh, I think so.
That kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's interesting.
Yeah, so like you would just go there, and rather than spending 80 grand, 100 grand on a new car, you would just say, okay, body upgrade's going to be 10K, interior upgrade's going to be, 5K. What do you want to do? And then you just keep the same. You keep the same frame, chassis, and engine, and maybe they might spruce something up with the engine to tune it up. But rather than just completely dismissing the whole vehicle, like if you want to update the body or the styling, you could easily do that with add-ons.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
It would be very eco-friendly because now you're not like,
that is true. That's interesting.
But you'd have to design.
I know mechanically,
you have to design an engine.
People are going to be like, there's no way that this would ever happen.
Yeah, but you got to design an engine that's going to last.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Like pretend the U.S. military came to you and was like, we need a durable engine that's not going to fail.
Yeah.
Think with that mindset, those engineers. All right.
Yeah, and someone can probably fucking do it though, too.
Other areas to make money, like body modifications, interior upgrades,
actually,
modules.
That reminds me. Did you see that kid on TikTok and on Instagram and all that made plastiline? Have you seen that?
Yes, that's crazy.
That shit is wild.
He made gas
out of plastic waste. That is pretty wild. And you know what's kind of weird to me is he's gotten a lot of attention on TikTok and on Instagram and social media platforms. And he's gone to dealerships and tested it, and it's worked as far as I understand it. Why isn't it blowing up more than?
Why do you think, man? Holy crap.
Why is it? No, I know why. I'm just throwing it out there.
Just
like,
read the
why?
comments. You'll see how, like, everybody knows historically, anyone that has come up with an easy way to generate
Like the hydrogen stuff,
energy, or creating gasoline power with free shit.
It's the biggest commodity in the
Bro,
world.
they end up, and I don't wish harm on anybody, they end up
In bad
disappearing.
situations.
Yeah, they end up disappearing.
That's interesting.
There's like people who have created cars that run on water.
Yeah, the hydrogen engine. Yeah, I've seen that before.
And there are people who know how to create perpetual reoccurring power. There was a crazy guy down in Florida that worked.
I was gonna say. I feel
So
like
there was a scientist type of engineer guy that worked with a colleague, acquaintance from high school. And he came to me and he goes, "Hey, I'm starting a whole new business. And this is what I've got." And I'm like, "Wait, what do you got?" And he's like, "I'm working with this engineer and he said he can get power for like 2 cents a kilowatt." Hold on, dude, you got my attention. What are you talking about? 2 cents a kilowatt? Have you seen this generator? Yeah, I have. And I'm going to build a whole company around it, and we're going to sell generators to Dubai. We're going to sell generators to the Arab Emirates and these countries. We're not talking about small time shit. We're talking about big time shit. So he knew I was in the digital game. I was a growth consultant. I've helped tons of companies grow. I'm not trying to flex. He knew that I was the guy to talk to, and he literally put so much into this. He put so much, and it breaks my heart. He got with me. We built out a whole brand, logo, website, contact forms, pages, landing pages, keyword strategy, the whole nine, social media.
I'm not going to make jokes. I don't know what happened.
Graphics and all that. And we didn't say his name, but wow, holy shit. So everything's live. We're running stuff. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm talking to these people. And I even put out some feelers. I was like, "Hey, we got a generator that can generate power with a combination of magnets and solar that can generate power for about 2 cents a kilowatt." You say that to anybody and they're going to want to talk to you. All right, so we're working, we're doing stuff. He's planning, he's out on meetings. He like hit me up. He's like, "Hey, Dubai wants to buy 40,000 generators." One of these motherfuckers were like 80 grand. They want to buy what? 40,000? Yeah, 40,000. He goes, "I got all this stuff teed up. I just need to get those generators manufactured." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, rock on, let's do it." This guy's kind of a take no shit kind of guy. He just said, "Fuck it," one day. He's like, "You know what? I'm going down to Florida. I'm going down to Florida and I'm going to see, I got to talk to this engineer because I got too much lined up. I got billions of dollars in orders." Like, just imagine, like, you had a bunch of stuff lined up to sell and you're like, "Dude, what, it's like the thing that we're working on. If those guys never delivered, we had nothing." And you're like, "Hey, I'm talking to all these people. What's going on?" So I commend him for doing this. He actually went down to Florida, knocked on the guy's door. "Hey, Scientist Joe, how you doing? Where's the generator? Where is the generator? I've put all my resources into this. People have invested."
That was a bad one.
No, it is. It's true. That is that sound. That is that sound,
Okay,
bro.
yeah.
This guy he had investors, he had loans, he had a lot of money on the line. The guy's like, "Oh, yeah, just come out back." I don't know if he was eccentric or they call it idiot savant or whatever. And sometimes an engineer will say they have something and they actually don't. Now, I have seen stories I've seen stories where let's say Bill Gates, he had that thing and then he sold it, but then he had it built with the money that he took from the deposit. That is a very high risk move. So what this guy did, to my understanding, is he had a concept, an idea in his head of how to generate power for about 2 cents a kilowatt, which is attractive. The concept test generator was not even done yet. Was not even done yet. So this guy was like, what are you talking about? He's like, wait. He's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, it's in pieces. I don't have it built yet. Now, when you're dealing with that type, because this guy's a go guy that I knew, but the engineer was more calculated and thinking and just
look at it closely.
Just really analyzing everything and thinking and pondering. We call that planning paralysis. While you have hardworking business development sales executives out there about to close deals, but how do you close a deal on something that's not fucking real? So what's going on? So he literally comes to me, he comes back from Florida, wicked upset, and said all of this was trash. And I said, so what do you mean? And he goes, there's no generator. There's not, like, he put so much into this. And when he told investors about it, those investors were like, what, 2 cents a kilowatt? This is a cutting edge generator? What do you want? A lot of money he got.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had to close everything. He shut everything down. Like, wow. Yeah, he had an agreement with me and there was a term. I just let him out because when shit like that happens, I was just, hey, don't worry about it. And I had to chalk up the loss. He chalked up the loss and he went back to what he normally does. But that was very, very, very sad.
Yeah, that shit
that was
sucks.
Insane. Like I can't even imagine that. You get excited about something and you're going to market. You're like, I got the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you truly believe it. And then you find out what. Think about that for a minute. If you do that, dude, you have literally.
If I was him, Loki, with all that sale, with all the money from the sale and the investment money, I would have hired another scientist to go work with that guy and be like, yo, like get him to fucking make this.
I was meaning, because I'm friends with him on Facebook. I was meaning to actually check in with him and see, did he ever hear back from that guy? Like, did it ever come to fruition? Did they run a test on the cost per kilowatt? Like, did it ever transpire? Because at the end of the day, even though the guy's this eccentric engineer, the timing wasn't there. And he's like, bro, you're still in the dream phase. Like, I need something. And it's not like that guy. I don't think the scientist had any bad intentions. I just think he was more of that eccentric type where he has the vision, right?
Yeah.
He has the vision. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And it's like, well, bro,
that holds so many people back. If you have that dream, but then you have that planning paralysis or that action paralysis, it's crazy. It's not good. Thank you so much for joining us today on Real. I had to make sure we were on the same wavelength there. Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like and subscribe. Peace out.